Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Black, Editor-in-Chief at Inside HPC. And today at SC21, we're speaking with Andy Grant. He is Vice President and Head of Global Sales for HPC, AI, and Quantum at Atos. So, Andy, welcome.
Thank you very much, Doug. Good to meet you and to speak today.
Okay, great. So let's start with a review of some highlights for Atos in HPC and Quantum over the last year.
Well, we had a fantastic year, despite all the issues related with the pandemic. And I think, some of the key things we're really pleased about, the number of entries that we had in the top 500 increased significantly year on year. We had double-digit growth in all the different areas, whether it's number of systems deployed, number of deployed petaflops, and so on. So that was fantastic. And also, we saw a big rise in Green 500, which is very pleasing for us as well. We've got something like 4 out of the top 10 systems in the Green 500. And we're hoping to see, next week with the release of the new list, we're expecting to see that increase even further. So we're on a good growth trajectory. And last year was a big year for Europe in HPC. There was the big Euro HPC initiatives that were rolled out for pre-exascale and petascale systems. And, a good key thing for us was we won 5 out of the 7 of those large procurements that have been issued so far. And, significantly, as we're Europe's biggest manufacturer, HPC provider, that was good testament to our investments in R&D over the years, and great to see that happening. So they were real highlights. We also introduced our Think AI platform last year. So this is a scalable AI platform for doing AI at large scale on supercomputers effectively. And, of course, we're doing that with NVIDIA. We're also introduced graph core versions of that and a software infrastructure we call FastML for coupling HPC and AI workloads together. So those are a couple of key things. What else? We had quite a few new quantum learning machine deployments, some big ones in the US, with some industrial customers as well. So we're seeing good momentum on the quantum simulator that we have, that we call the quantum learning machine. And our approach of kind of taking a hardware agnostic approach to developing quantum algorithms seems to be resonating with customers. So that's really pleasing to see.
Okay, thanks. If there's a theme that's just getting stronger and stronger in HPC, it's the convergence of HPC and AI. Can you share some examples of this in practice from the Atos perspective?
Yeah, so we're seeing it, across a number of different domains, whether it's manufacturing, engineering, or healthcare. We're seeing examples of different screening programs, for example, using AI to accelerate medical screening. But probably the best example we've got at the moment is work we're doing with ECMWF, the European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecasts, where last year we set up a centre of excellence with them, specifically focused on use of AI in HPC and weather and climate modelling. So work we've been doing there, as well as kind of looking at how we could accelerate their weather codes using GPUs, is how we can replace some of the core kernels in the weather and climate models with neural networks. And that's yielding some really interesting results. There's a lot of promise in those techniques, because if it's successful, it will allow us to do much higher resolution modeling in much shorter periods of time, which is, allows you then to model effects that you couldn't do today at much higher resolution. So there's still some work to do to make sure the physics, the models are simulating the physics correctly, and that you're not introducing, errors where you shouldn't be. But so far the work looks really promising. And in fact, I noted that in the GTC keynote that Jensen Huang gave the other day, he mentioned some of that work as well, which was quite interesting. So yeah.
Okay, let's move over to Exascale. Certainly, this is the year of Exascale really arriving, at least in the US. And but how is Atos planning to address Exascale requirements in Europe and beyond?
Well, over the last year, while we've been doing these pre-Exascale projects, our R&D guys have been very busy planning the next generation of systems, which will be introduced next year. And this will be our target platform for Exascale. So because it's new and it's not announced yet, I can't say too much about it, but just to say that, it will accommodate the latest processor technologies and GPU technologies from the major vendors, but also, and critically, it will be our 5th generation of direct liquid cooling platform. So we see energy efficiency as a key part of what we do, particularly in the drive to Exascale, because inevitably systems of that size are going to be energy hungry. And so having a very energy efficient cooling system is critical to that. So we'll see those systems start to roll out next year. And it will be an evolution of our current product family, the Sequana XH2000, which has been extremely successful in the marketplace. You'll also see different modules becoming part of that architecture. So in the future, we'll see tighter integration, obviously with AI, as we've just mentioned, but also other forms of technology. So perhaps quantum becoming more integral into the architecture, and other things, perhaps a little bit more exotic still, like neuromorphic and so on. So we think that we'll start to see a convergence of these different technologies into single unified architectures. And that's our new platforms will help enable that.
Okay. So now there's intense focus, of course, globally on climate. How does Atos address energy efficiency in their technology and support clients with their decarbonization agenda?
Yeah, so I just mentioned this direct liquid cooling, and the new family will be the 5th generation. But if I just look at the current products where we're already using direct liquid cooling, we go so far as even to cool the power supplies in the systems. So we can inject warm water into the systems at up to 40 degrees centigrade to cool those platforms in a very efficient way, without having to have significant cooling infrastructure on site. That's allowing us to develop platforms that are, have fewer mechanical parts. We don't need to include any fans in the systems, for example, because we're cooling everything without air. That makes them extremely quiet and extremely reliable, but more importantly, extremely energy efficient. So our systems have a PUE of just above 1 today, and those will get even better with the next generation of systems. We can take 96-97% of the heat generated out to water, which is a fantastic result, and our customers are yielding that in the lower TCOs around the world. In terms of the broader, how we're addressing climate, the climate emergency, well, Atos itself has made a very strong commitment and has stated we will be carbon zero by 2028. So that's a long time before the Paris Accord, and let's see what happens out of the COP26 summit, that's happening at the moment. But our commitment is to be carbon neutral as a company by 2028, and we see HPC and our HPC platforms as a core part of that. One of the ways we're doing that is through what we call decarbonization level agreements. So with our HPC customers, we'll baseline at the start of a project what is the carbon consumption of those products, and then over time we'll make commitments on how we're going to help the customer reduce that. That could be through application optimization to reduce the energy per unit of work in those applications, or other mechanisms that we can deploy to using different technologies to bring down the energy footprint of the applications. And the commitment is effectively to offer carbon zero compute cycles for our HPC customers. And where we can't do it directly through the optimizations, we'll do it through offsetting. So Atos is very committed to offsetting to reduce individual carbon footprints. We also, where we're hosting customers in our data centers, they're all fully green electricity, low power, low cost power, green electricity. So we're helping customers in a number of ways in how to kind of reduce their carbon footprint through HPC. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and best of luck with that 2028 goal, of course.
Yeah, it's a challenging goal. It's a challenging goal, that's for sure.
So certainly HPC in the cloud is a fast-growing part of the HPC market overall. You all, with the acquisition of Nimbix earlier this year, how do you plan to fully roll out your HPC cloud strategy to your customers?
Yeah, I mean, we were really pleased with the Nimbix acquisition. They're a great team, and we're really pleased and honored to have them join Atos. And they've got some great technology. The key thing for us is that we think the world is moving into a hybrid direction. So, we're not saying to our customers everything has to be on premises or everything has to be cloud. We firmly believe that over the next period, it will be a hybrid mode, and the Nimbix tools, the Jarvis platform, really makes it easy for customers to find the right kind of balance point in their workloads, to decide what to keep on-prem, what to move into the cloud, and then how to balance across the two and move the workloads between them. So we have, with the Nimbix acquisition, we have a few kind of cloud native customers using those platforms. We have, many of our on-prem customers who want the ability to burst to cloud and have that enabled. And this is a key bit of technology to help us do that. Atos, more broadly, has very strong relationships with the hyperscalers as well. We're a major provider for Google, Amazon, and the others. And we will start to see more and more of that happening within our HPC portfolio as well. And with this acquisition, that really helps enable that.
Great. Yeah. I always like the crew over at Nimbix. Now, as a large systems integrator, tell us about, I'll just leave you with an open-ended question. Tell us about other benefits Atos brings to clients.
Well, one of the key things, and it comes back to cloud, the hybrid strategy for cloud a little bit as well, is no vendor lock-in. We're very happy to make sure that as a whole, for whichever cloud provider, we want to make sure our customers are happy and able to move, so they don't have a lock-in. And that's a message that spans across the company as well. But obviously, we're a HPC provider within the systems integrator space. So what else can we do? Well, cybersecurity. So Atos is the number 2 managed cybersecurity provider globally. Adding that capability for our HPC customers, I think, is a real differentiator for us. We could offer hosting. So we have data centers all around the world, many of them. So a lot of our customers across the globe are using Atos data centers for hosting their equipment. We can do that for the HPC environments as well. We could offer flexible financing. So quite often customers today, where capex is perhaps a bit hard to come by, look at how we can manage OpEx models using new financing techniques, or come up with new financing techniques to help the customers how they manage their budgets. And of course, we've got a global presence as well. So where we have companies who want to operate in different parts of the world, perhaps around the sun, manufacturing, that kind of thing, we can help them with that as well, and their global integration. And then, of course, we mentioned decarbonization. Atos is very strong in decarb consultancy. So those are other aspects that we can bring to the discussion. So I think there's a few things that we can help our HPC customers that you wouldn't normally see just from a regular HPC vendor, by bringing in these broader capabilities that we have.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you and to Atos across all these aspects of your strategy and mission. And I'll just also wish you a very successful SC21.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.